it's it's literally the key to freedom, right? Other people's opinions and misunderstandings of you don't define you. And yet it's those are the very fears that hold us back, right? Because again, we don't want to sit in that discomfort of being criticized or judged. Every client that came to me said in some way or another they didn't feel safe to be seen. And so I realized, yes, I help people with their brand story, but if you have any level of visibility fear, of being seen for who you are, of speaking publicly on whatever you teach, this will self-sabotage you. And I know this because it was my story. Where are you at in your business? How do you feel about showing up and presenting who you are? Or how do you feel about sharing parts of your story as it relates to your business? I think that at the core of visibility fears, it's the fear of criticism, rejection, and not being accepted. This is like the modern day version of being excommunicated from the tribe. And back in the day, maybe in our parents' generation, our grandparents, or great grandparents, and just like the history of humanity, it's like if women didn't follow the rules or respect the status quo, she would get kicked out of the kingdom, burned at the stake, frozen outside. Like it literally was life or death. If you didn't maintain the status quo of like the community, it was really dangerous to, speak of something differently. And I think, a lot of you can probably relate, especially in this year. I mean, just look at the debates that go on around the COVID or the 2020 election. I mean, people have a really hard time holding space for someone with a different opinion. And so we default to shame. Let me shame you to get you to believe the same thing that I do. Because if you don't, then there's either something wrong with you or something wrong with me, right? And our ego is going to protect us and we're going to assume it's them. So it's so interesting when you get curious with people and understand like where they're coming from and why they have certain beliefs. But just to go back to what I was saying, women historically have sacrificed parts of themselves just to fit in, right? It's like literally in our DNA to fit in, stay safe, don't speak the truth. And so much of what we're going to be talking about today, because I realize some of you might have joined because you want to learn more about how to tell your story. Some of you might want to hone in on your messaging. Some of you might want to learn how to speak confidently on camera. Some of you might be like ready to up level your business and take your message to a bigger movement. And the reason why we're starting on day one with this visibility is to shine the light and get real with ourselves. I feel like I just quoted Dr. Phil there. Like really getting honest with yourself around the fears, because I can honestly say that everyone has visibility fears and it's just going to show up in different ways. We're all going to have a different like comfort level thermometer. So I think that we give too much power away to the people around us. Your life matters, your voice matters, and it is 100% our responsibility to develop our own sense of self so that we can exist and feel safe and feel loved even when other people don't agree with us. And when you can find that sense of peace, which was a huge part of my journey, it's literally the key to freedom, right? Other people's opinions and misunderstandings of you don't define you. And yet those are the very fears that hold us back, right? Because again, we don't want to sit in that discomfort of being criticized or judged. So obviously we can't control what people will say about us, but we can cultivate our own sense of inner trust and confidence and resilience. And I talk a lot about I used to feel like I was living in a self-made prison, and because I have found the key, I've made it my mission to share this with everyone because I literally learned this the hard way. And if someone had come to me even 5 years ago and said like everything I'm teaching now, then I could have started playing, a much different game in life, really living to my highest potential.